This week's edition of NJBIA's Minding Your Business is brought to you in part by AT&T, helping family, friends, and neighbors connect in meaningful ways every day. From the first phone call 140 years ago to mobile video streaming today, AT&T innovates to improve lives. And by New Jersey Business Magazine, providing the critical information needs for New Jersey's business community for more than 65 years.
Welcome to NJBIA's Minding Your Business. I'm your host, Bob Considine. On today's episode, we travel to Red Bank for the first Stars of Women in Business event hosted by Kristina Henderson, the reigning Mrs. New Jersey American and CEO of Henderson Promos and NJBIA member. About 100 women attended the live event at 26 West on the Navesink, and we caught up with Kristina and 4 award recipients: Tam St, the CEO of St. Armand Ventures; Laurie, Goganzer, CEO of the Ymca of Greater Monmouth County; Jodi, Grinwald, founder of Zzak, Applaud Our Kids Foundation; and Kimberly Kravitz, reporter and producer at MeTV. Have a look at the first Stars of Women in Business event. All right, we're here with Kristina Henderson, who has put together the first Stars of Women in Business event. Kristina, why are you throwing this event?
You know, I felt like women really needed to be celebrated, especially during this time. We've just come from this really difficult year where, you know, a lot of businesses were shut down and people were struggling. And now's the time to get out again, be out in public with friends and family and supporters of, you know, your business and just put yourself out there to the next level. Right. And so I really wanted to put together an event to bring together strong, successful women who are out there in business and nonprofit world, right, and get them together to really embrace one another and pledge to buy from local small businesses that are also women-owned.
Right, and it's amazing because this is pretty much the first women's business event in the state that's in person in over a year.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
And, you know, I've actually never been to an all-women's event like to this scale before, right. So I think it really needed to be done. I feel like we need to celebrate one another and be mentors for one another in business and in the nonprofit world. And, you know, because I believe if one of us succeeds, we all succeed.
Right.
So it's about really supporting one another and lifting each other up.
So your reign as Miss New Jersey American has taken you to women-owned businesses throughout the state.
It has.
Is this to what extent? Is it all 21 counties?
All 21 counties. I've gone to multiple businesses in each county. Right. Spoke with women business owners, and it has been the most enlightening experience I've had as Mrs. New Jersey. Yeah. I've met women who have struggled during the pandemic, who have pivoted their business to survive in all different ways. They had plan B's, C's, and D's during the pandemic, and they've come out on top because they're resilient. And I've seen the strength that New Jerseyans have, and we will not give up, and we will support one another. And the warm welcome I've received in each county has been incredible. Yeah. You know, everyone's welcomed me, you know, with open arms, and we're so excited to see me, and I was so excited to see them and hear their stories and build this network of strong, powerful women.
Yeah, I remember my sister, who owns Attention to Detail Cleaning Services. You visited her.
I did.
And it was really great. I mean, she really got a lot out of it. I think you got something out of it too.
I did. I did. It was so amazing meeting her and hearing her story, you know, starting this business on her own and creating a successful business, and just listening to her story and her triumph was empowering and moving. And I'm so happy to meet women like her, hear her story, and it really empowers all other women to follow their dreams, believe in themselves, never give up.
You've been a tremendous representative of the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Bob.
And a few months left to go, too.
A few months left, so I'll be doing events this summer and still doing appearances, and then I give up the title to the next. I crown my successor in September.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to finishing the year off strong, and then I'm ready for the next chapter.
All right, so one last question before we let you go to the your masses here at 26 West on Navesink.
Yes.
tell us Henderson Promos, which is basically a custom apparel and products place. So if you have an event and you want your coasters to have your company name on it, you're going to Henderson Promos, which, by the way, is just based right up the street.
Right down the street.
Yeah.
We're on Maple Ave, and our business, we brand products, and events are happening again. People are ordering promos. They're getting the word out there for the event, and we do pens, T-shirts, hats. Like, really, you can put a logo on anything with us, and it's just about supporting women-owned, family-owned, small businesses. We're New Jersey-based, and we have customers nationwide. And I love what I do. I love helping brands get the word out and get people, drive business to my customers. That's what it's all about.
Jodi Grinwald, founder and CEO of the Zzak Applaud Our Kids Foundation. Congratulations. Here at the Stars of Women in Business Award. Jodi is winning the Casting Light Award. What does that mean for you, Jodi?
I was honored. I had no idea. So when Kristina mentioned it and said that to me, it meant so much because I don't do any of the work that I do for accolades, right? So Casting Light, I think, the way she put it to me, was really about the fact that I'm working consistently in the communities, trying to make a difference. And consistently, whether it's for Zzak or nonprofits in general, it's not just for Zzak.
Yeah, you go way back with nonprofits for sure. The actual review of the award says, highlights a woman who is truly making a difference in our community through her work with nonprofits or volunteerism. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It's well deserved and well honored. You recently had the 2021 Scholarship Showcase, which was in Veterans Park in Berkeley Township. And I drove by this thing. I didn't know it was Jodi's event. And I drove through it, and there's just people and miles of people and cars, and they're singing. I'm like, I wonder what's going on there. And it was your event.
Oh, now I feel bad. I should have totally made sure to send you a personal invite.
I would not have been cool enough to do that.
Yes, we would. I cannot believe how many people came out. It was this is our first event since the pandemic, obviously, in person. Over 200 people came out to support, and we had the most amount of recipients who have benefited from our organization. They're taking the stage, and the kids learned a number. All of our studio partners, our AOK Performance Group, and our scholarship recipients that morning in the 90-degree weather learned the finale number. So we were there for almost 8 hours.
And that's the real reason I wasn't there, is my hair would have frizzed the entire time. But for folks who know, Zzak Applaud Our Kids Foundation provides full funding for children who don't have the financial wherewithal to have classes in the arts, right?
Dancing, acting, singing, instrumental music, and vocal instruction. We fund for up to 11 years, but we place them in studios close to their home and do all the background work to make sure that we're placing them somewhere that's going to be beneficial to them.
Right. Well, lastly, Jodi, how's your Today's the Day Changemaker podcast going? Every time I see you have a new one going, and it seems like it's a real stream of popularity right now.
It has really been incredible that my biggest fear 5 years ago when I wanted to do this was nobody was going to want to be a guest. And yet people are asking me if they can be guests. And we're looking at having in 2022 a Changemaker Summit. So I am super excited and so grateful that the leaders in the community want to be a part of sharing their personal story. And we do it in such a way that it's a conversation. There's no scripting.
All right, we are here with Laurie Goganzer, the CEO of Ymca of Greater Monmouth County, who is the Shining Star Award winner at the Stars of Women in Business event here. Laurie, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, so the Shining Star Award winner is given to a woman who, through her accomplishments and grace, continues to be a shining example of leadership and what it means to be a woman in business. So I'll ask the proverbial basic question: what does it mean to get this award here tonight?
This is truly an honor for me. I'm simply just doing what I do. I've spent almost 30 years of my career working for the YMCA.
Wow.
It's been a great career path for me. Grew up here in Jersey and started my career in New York and worked up from program director all the way to Los Angeles, where I was running YMCA's.
No kidding. Really?
Hollywood Y, the Downtown Y, built a new Y out there, and then I was working for the San Diego Y. So spent 15 years in Southern California still running the YMCA.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity came for me to move home and to be close to family.
Was it difficult to move back from La La Land?
I do miss my flip-flops in February.
Yeah.
But I do love this organization, and I love love my family just as much, actually more. Right. So I had the opportunity to come home. And so since 2017, I've been running the YMCA here in Greater Monmouth County, and it's been such an awesome journey.
And it's amazing what the YMCA of Greater Monmouth County does. Let me just read off the list here of what they do in so many communities. Health and wellness centers, facilities in Freehold Township, Old Bridge, and Red Bank, outdoor camps in Millstone and Wall, a community center in Freehold and Borough, county and social services centers in Eatontown, Matawan, and Middletown. My gosh. Child care centers in Freehold Township, Matawan, and Red Bank, and you're integrated in nearly 100 schools in Monmouth and Ocean County.
Yes.
Where does your day start and begin?
You know what? I'm still, this is morning for me. So we just keep going.
Right.
And, you know, I was just saying earlier to a couple of colleagues, this work for me, it's a calling.
Yeah.
And I find this to be just what I was meant to do. And no day feels like the same. Every day is different. And it's just not a job. It's to me, it's service. And being able to give back and do good for other people is what the YMCA is all about and what I'm all about.
All right. Well, listen, this is the Shining Star Award winner. She needs you in her galaxy, so go help her.
I need you. I need you. Come to the Y. Support the YMCA.
All right, we're here at the Stars of Women in Business event, and we are here with the Rising Star Award winner. This is Emmy Award-winning reporter and anchor, Kimberly Kravitz. Kimberly, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And this is a thrill for me because the tides are turned. The table is turned. I get to ask the questions now.
The tough questions, huh?
The tough questions. Obviously, Kimberly is from New Jersey News Network and Jersey Matters with Larry Menti on MeTV.
And we've had the pleasure of meeting so many times over the years. It's been great.
It's been a thrill. And I have to say, you know, there are so many good reporters out there, but you are one of the good ones, but you're also incredibly nice. And we don't find that all the time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You won Most Congenial in Miss Universe 2018, right?
Yes. And that's something that I don't even want to take credit for because that's all mom and dad, right? That's learned. So I like to go with that.
You come from your parents, right?
Exactly.
You're a product of our parents.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here. So you're the Rising Star Award winner. Read it. That goes to a woman who's under 40, who through her ambition, hard work, and drive is blazing a future for herself and for women who will follow behind her. So what does this mean to you?
Well, geez, I was pretty taken back when I heard this. It was a complete honor, but I have to say the definition of what a rising star is what I do aspire to be. I'm continuing. I'll be 30, by the way, in a month. So I'm like looking to find that next milestone. And I have to say I'm proud of my past, but I'm really looking forward to my future. I had a dream, as we all do at a young age, and I'm just so happy to do what I love every single day.
And what do you like about the job? I mean, you work with Larry Menti. You also do stuff on your own, I know, for the channels.
Yes, what I love about the job is that every single day is different. So I wear many hats there. We're small staff. I'm a producer, so I am with Larry every step of the week. We tie that show in a knot by the weekend, and Saturday and Sunday our show airs. But all throughout the week, I'm monitoring news and I'm out there reporting on it. COVID has been, I don't have to tell you, it's changed actually. It's turned features into hard news, which is something I never thought I would be interested in doing. The message is great.
So I know you've definitely interviewed Michelle Sakirka, CEO of NJBIA in the past, but I wanted to find out over the past year, in coming across businesses, how they've been impacted with COVID. What kind of stories did you find? Anything really taken by surprise?
There's a few. We've covered it the whole time. I think small business in New Jersey especially has been a huge topic of conversation. Unemployment as well. Someone that I think we all know is Tim McClune. He had a dozen restaurants.
Tim has been on our show as well.
Right, and he's a straight shooter. And he was the one that said to me that he had a dozen restaurants, he closed 4. I mean, my goodness. It's just because, one, they're not having enough workers, and 2, it's small business that was closed. No one was able to go out to eat and they couldn't survive on takeout. That's one person. But another is in a small town where there was a Cuban immigrant family, 3 decades, a tuxedo, prom, dry cleaner company, and when I went to them, they said we can't pay our bills, and we've been open for generations. And when you hear stories like that over and over, where people cry on on the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, the response it's unbelievable.
Well, the thing about the
there's no reversing it, right?
I know. Well, there's grants, but they're only good for a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
But the thing about dry cleaners is amazing is how that's the untold story. These folks are dependent on people going out to work and wearing a sports jacket or a button-down shirt or a dress.
Yes.
And they're in their sweatpants and they're not going to the dry cleaner.
And proms too. So schools were closed and proms and graduations were out the window.
Right.
Their business was kaput.
Right.
And when you hear that times 30, a week, you realize that the need is great.
All right, we are here with Tam St. Armand, one of our Stars of Women in Business Award winners. Tam, you have won the Rockstar Award. And before we get into that, I should say you are the president and CEO of the St. Armand Ventures based in New York City.
Yes.
Congratulations. Rockstar Award goes to a woman who supports other women in business and in the community. So what's it feel like to be a rock star?
Well, I've always been one, so I'm quite used to the feeling.
Right. Nice.
I'm really honored.
Right.
You go into something like this and you think, okay, this is great. I'll get an award. I'll see a few people. But as it draws near and everybody's reaching out and saying, we want to be there to support you, and organizations like yourself, that support women in business, it's just, it all comes together and you really do have that sense of pride and you're very proud of that accomplishment.
Yeah. Tell us about St. Armand Ventures. What is the mission of this company?
It's twofold.
Okay.
So under that umbrella, we have two companies. One is insurance and risk management.
Okay.
It's property and casualty for the most part. We also do life and health, but we specialize in the property and casualty. The second company is all about connectivity. So we have these very interesting events. We call them for extraordinary individuals.
Wow.
These are people who are out in the world doing remarkable things all the time, consistently, showing up, making things happen. These people are, you see them on the airwaves.
Right.
They're really, it's fascinating to put them all in a room together.
Yeah.
And the amount of business that's transacted. And we're just expanding that company for a new service, which is to put people where they want to be. So if they want to go to the Cannes Film Festival, and then the Riviera, and then a box at Giant Stadium, whatever it is they want to do, our team will connect them into those types of experiences.
All right, so let's talk about the risk management portion.
Okay.
What kind of risk management are we talking about here?
Kidnap and ransom.
Kidnap and ransom. They have insurance for this.
They do.
Wow.
And it's very much needed.
Yeah.
Terrorism.
Oh, yeah.
Here's one you'll know, cyber.
Yeah, well, that we know,
Aviation, private client, finance risk management.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do home and auto too, or?
I love doing home and auto. Those were my roots.
Right.
My roots were with Nationwide.
Right.
And I grew from there, but I still help out with your home and auto and the basics.
All right. Thank you to Kristina Henderson of NJBIA member Henderson Promos. Before we head to the break, have a look at some upcoming NJBIA events.
You're first. First to respond. First to put others' lives before your own. And in an emergency, you need a network that puts you first, that connects you to technology and each other, that's built with and for first responders. FirstNet, the only officially authorized wireless network for first responders. Because putting you first is our job.
Welcome back to NJBIA's Minding Your Business. I'm Bob Considine. Well, more businesses are able to go back to work, but how many are going to go back to work the way it was before the pandemic? Focus New Jersey and Brother International recently conducted a back-to-work survey, and here to discuss those results are Nicole Sandelier from Focus New Jersey and Dan Waldinger from Brother International. Dan, Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so before we get into the survey results, what I wanted to find out is why now? Why the survey now? What was the impetus to make this decision to do this now?
Assessing how people work and the evolution of the office or the future of work is something that we have to do at Brother to stay in touch with our clients and our prospects, because we're providing them technology for their printing and scanning and document management needs. So that's critical. COVID really shined a light on everything. It sort of put some trends, accelerate some trends, the idea of mobility and anywhere work, the idea of digital transformation. And this is something we need to take a look at on a regular basis so we can serve our customers.
Right, very good. I'll get into some of the results here. Top line, 45% reported that some form of their workforce is still operating remotely, while 55% reported their entire staff is in person. And I guess we can suspect an increase in these numbers in terms of more people getting back to work as we go forward. But what I'm curious about is, based off the survey, do you think we'll ever get back to a point where it's 100% back to work?
Well, I think it's a new norm for us. It's a hybrid work from office, work from home. Many organizations are looking at their work from home policies.
Right.
And, we did some surveys before this survey actually, and spoke to about 50 of our mid-size and large customers. And they were telling us that back in October and November that they never really thought they'd get back to 100% normal.
Wow.
And they really looked at this as an opportunity to sort of redefine and look at new efficiencies for their businesses.
Right.
And you could imagine if people aren't coming back to work, there's a whole host of things that they could look at.
Right.
Obviously, the size of their office, the technology that they're purchasing from and acquiring from companies like Brothers. So this is really important for us.
Yeah, Brothers, huge company. What about you, Nicole?
I think from a technology standpoint, a lot of the softwares and technologies already existed, but I think there was a reluctancy for businesses to take that leap into hybrid learning or hybrid working. What COVID did was show that people could still be productive while working from home. And so I do think the hybrid model might be here to stay. It might not be as extreme as it's been during the pandemic, but I definitely think we're going to see across the board some sort of hybrid working from here on out.
How about Dan? So, you're working for Brother. Were you able to get a sense of how productive businesses were while they were working from home and not at the office?
Well, at the beginning, when we saw a big spike in demand for our small office and home office products, and that really accelerated dramatically. Of course, our business products took the other turn. And so this was really an important time for us to make sure that when people came back, that we were really talking to them about the new needs that they have and the new efficiencies they had. And we're really talking about going from what was a centralized office place to more of a decentralized office place as people come back. Because let's face it, if 50-60% of the workforce is only in the office at one particular time, how they're going to use that technology is going to dramatically change. So the idea of getting that technology closer to the user is really about the efficiencies that we want to focus in on with customers.
Got it. What kind of investments were people making for all this technology movement, I guess?
Yeah, well, of course, they ran out and bought monitors and PCs and printers and
good
scanners.
For you guys, right?
It was good for our home office products. But then, of course, cloud services and new softwares that they needed to enhance for collaboration or web conferencing. Of course, we all know about Zoom, and we've been on hundreds of Zoom calls since then.
So. Oh, they've been great. I've loved every one of them.
I'm sure.
How about it? So did we see kind of a acceleration in digital technology faster than we might not have seen before the pandemic?
I think the short answer is yes. So prior to the onset of the pandemic, we were talking to our stakeholders around the state, and we anticipated this rapid adoption of technologies across industries within the next 5 to 10 years. COVID hit, and a lot of our businesses were forced to adjust their business model over the course of just 2 to 3 months. And so we really saw this expansion in use of technologies, whether in the office space or on front lines in terms of manufacturing, construction, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, digital transformation has been occurring, but as Nicole said, it's been accelerated. So for us, it's about looking at business processes and taking paper-based processes or legacy processes and digitizing them. So you can imagine as people were working from home, they needed new software. things like e-signature software that they can use at home. You might know things like DocuSign, or we partnered with someone called TrueSign, or even just scanning documents and digitizing them and indexing them, making them searchable so that they can be shared across geographies and shared with the workers.
Got it. So back to the survey a little bit. In terms of employee reluctancy to come back to work, did the survey yield any results in terms of that?
So it's very interesting because we hear a lot about on the news today about employees not wanting to come back to work, where our survey actually found that most businesses might not be or aren't concerned about the reluctancy of individuals coming back to work. In fact, only 18% said yes, they're concerned about their employees being reluctant to come back.
Right. I want to read another data point from the survey. It said 42% so they believe it will take longer than a year to break even on revenues lost during the pandemic. I know, Nicole, through NJBIA and Focus NJ, you've been tracking this for like a year now. So what does that 42% number square with past numbers?
So we've been tracking this since April of 2020. Believe it or not, the number really hasn't changed much, and it's actually started to get a little bit worse. And I think back in April, I think we were all still a little bit optimistic that this was going to be a short flat in the curve and we were going to get back to normal sooner rather than later. But our survey results found that only 1% of companies think that they're going to make up lost revenue in 1 month, and another 1% have said that they've made up their lost revenues at all. And so we're seeing the impact, as we've talked about extensively at Focus New Jersey. The majority of our businesses are still experiencing a pretty large decline in revenue.
Nicole, what did we find off the survey in terms of physical modifications and investments in protection for all these buildings in the survey?
So we saw that businesses on average spend about $7,000 investing in keeping their employees safe.
$7,000
on average.
On average.
Yes.
By the way, how many people took the survey?
Over 700.
Wow, it's a good number.
Yes.
Okay.
So we found that they invested in plexiglass barriers, increased sanitation, hand sanitizers, and masks for their employees. 39% say that these changes are going to be permanent, while about 30% say that it's going to be temporary.
Wow, 39%. I would have expected 39% would, that's actually a pretty high number that we keep it permanent.
It's nearly 4 in 10 businesses plan to keep these changes the same moving forward.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, Bob, I think it's about helping the employee feel comfortable. I mean, the term that was thrown around was the 6-foot office, right? It's like make sure the equipment and everything is protected. Contactless printing, when you touch technology, should you do it with your mobile phone? So these types of changes that were put in play to help employees feel more comfortable.
I'll ask a final question in terms of work culture to both of you. You know, if there are less people in the office at the same time as there used to be pre-pandemic, did we lose something in terms of culture and seeing somebody down the hall, seeing somebody by the water cooler, proverbial water cooler? Did we lose that connection?
I think it depends on who you're asking, right? So I've had over 150 Zoom calls with our parent company overseas. And normally I would travel to see them.
No kid, you go overseas for them?
Sure, 5-6 times a year.
Wow.
You know, and so that's new, right? So I'm not seeing them. We're not having that relationship building, that solving problems together that we would normally have. And so I think from my perspective, that's lost a little bit. But it's really getting back to this hybrid, right? It may be generational, maybe. Someone like me, an old dinosaur who is about business relationships and what we're doing here today might be different from somebody, maybe a younger generation who grew up on the technology that we're talking about today. So I think at the end of the day, it's about those two worlds working together. As a leader, I really enjoy, the mentoring and coaching and solving problems together with my employees. So I miss that. But then I know there are people who are really 100% efficient at home, working from home and doing a great job. And they're unique people. I'm not one of those people. I need to get back to the office. But I think it's that living in both worlds that's critical for us today.
Very interesting. What about you, Nicole?
I think there's definitely a balance or a healthy mix. I think about myself 5 years ago, having just started my career, and all the opportunities that were presented to me by being in person, the ability to talk to you or my colleagues or the president and CEO, Michelle, just walking by her in the office, or having the ability to share my ideas, not in front of a Zoom screen, maybe after a meeting. All of those opportunities played an integral role in my ability to develop and grow as a young professional. And I think for young folks especially, that might not be something that you can get behind a Zoom screen or on a Teams meeting. So I do think it's important.
Yeah, right before we shot this, we saw about each other about an hour ago. It was the first time we walked past each other in a hallway in over a year. And it was the best year of her life because you didn't get to see me.
I missed you greatly, Bob.
Thank you, Nicole. Anyway, this is very fascinating stuff. Dan Waldinger from Brother International, Nicole Sandelier from Focus NJ, great work, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, and thank you for joining us on NJBIA's Minding Your Business, and we will see you next time.